they all look synonymous. You can come out, get $15,000 to $25,000. Then we talk about U.S. Bank and we talk about Univest. So now I just got 3 more business credit cards that only pulled from TransUnion, right? So just like that, we've gotten 7 plus 3 plus 3. We're talking about 13 business credit cards.
That's the vertical or that's the horizontal?
That would be horizontal. Do a lot of funding for everybody. So yeah, everybody who's on the call is gonna have an opportunity to get funded. Everyone who's on the call.
Wait. All right, wait.
Yeah.
How does work? All right, so wait. What's going on, millionaires? It's your guy Kai Speaks back for another episode of the $1 Million Mind podcast. We in here with a seasoned vet. We got my boy Darius Benders back in the building, man. Darius, is like your 3rd time on the show, ain't it?
For real.
We're gonna have to have you back. I feel like, it's refreshing to have you on here because the information is always changing. In this day and age, we ain't like data overload nowadays. Facts. Where, so many people are sharing some of the same information, but it's like whispered down the lane. Every time it leaves somebody new lips, the information will change a little bit,
That's
right?
For real.
So it's refreshing to have you on here to kind of confirm and deny some of the information we've been hearing about, like the funding, industry, credit industry, but most importantly, just doing good business.
Absolutely.
And so what we talked about a little bit before we, kicked off the episode was just, the foundations of business, principles of like marketing and
Facts.
how to build strong offers. But for our listeners who are new to you, tell them a little bit about, what you do and how you got started in this industry.
Absolutely. So my name is Darius Benders. Last 2 years, we funded over $24 million. I've now helped over 32 business owners become 6-figure business owners. And essentially, I help people leverage capital to be able to start, grow, and scale their businesses, because I know that the number one thing that most people are missing foundationally, like we talked about, is the ability to go out and do the things that they want to do. And typically, money is the hindrance, right? We know 82% of businesses fail in the first 5 years, and the number one reason is due to lack of capital. So the reason I'm so passionate about, teaching it, doing it, and talking about it is because I know it was the thing that changed my lives. So now we help others do the same.
Mm-hmm. And that's real, because like the money being a hindrance is like the number one way why it takes people so long to scale.
Absolutely.
Because once you realize like some things that you really need, it already takes a lot of energy as a business owner to figure out what you need to do, right? to once you get that idea, like, oh, this is what I should have been doing this whole time to scale this business. Yeah. But it can be deflating once you get that idea, and then you can't move on it because that idea may cost you $1,500, $2,500, and you may have to work up to that because you only got $500 saved that you can use for the business, right?
Exactly.
And so that's the problem that a lot of us face, as new business owners. And I think it's huge being in a position to where you start focusing on, building up a credit profile, being able to, make yourself attractive as a business owner, to these banks and other companies for funding, to where now when you have that play, you can run it right away 100%. And not have to wait. So, you've been learning a lot of things over the last few years about just the foundations of business. Tell us a little bit about like how even in your business it has evolved over these last 3-4 years.
Absolutely. So the name of the game is leverage, right? And I one thing I learned about business is the most important thing we can do is create the most leverage. Entrepreneur who has the most leverage is going to win. You can leverage, obviously when we talk about funding, we're leveraging the banks, right? You could be dead broke. If you're someone you don't have any money, to think about funding it's a great thing because you don't need to have money. A lot of these banks are giving out money without you having to provide documentation, meaning you don't have to provide pay stubs, you don't have to provide W-2s if your credit profile is in order. Another thing we leverage is relationships. So we'll to get into it today, but we've created a system where now we work directly with relationship banking managers, which allows our clients to get $50,000, $75,000, even $100,000 limits, which puts us at an advantage. So when you come to me, you want funding, it's not just like we're pushing you through a regular algorithm on the internet, right? We're not just applying regular. No, we're dealing directly with someone who has the ability to get you higher, higher accounts and higher amounts. And then the last thing we talk about in business is leveraging other people's audience. So we're going to go in today on how you all can take this credit and now put it into a cash flowing business, a funding company, and you can literally leverage relationships to where you don't need to spend a lot of money on advertisement. You don't need to do a whole lot of social media marketing if you understand how to leverage these relationships.
Yeah. Facts, 100%. And I feel like leverage is a tricky word like that. Some people just don't fully understand. Like, I know you used it very well in a few different sentences, from the relationships to the manager. Speak about, like, again, the leveraging of relationships with, you said, the banking managers, or like to talk about that and even go more into depth to people who are hearing this and may not be 100% clear on what leverage is?
Absolutely. So leverage is to have maximum advantage. So the way I can do that is we can get into the banking relationships, but the question I want everyone to ask is who has my money, right? And this goes in any business. So in our business as a funding company, I can say who has my money, right? Credit repair specialists, they have people who need funding. So what do they do when they're done fixing their credit? They come to me, they send me the work, we kick them back a percentage. They're happy because they make anywhere from $15,000 to $3,000. I'm happy because I get to make anywhere from $7,000 all the way up to $20,000 by getting them funding, and I did not have to pay for that lead. I didn't have to go find that lead. I just built a relationship. Another way you could build a relationship is through realtors. Guess what? Realtors are getting people approved for houses. What do they need when they get houses? Typically, they want either their credit in position, or they want money to put into the house, money they want to do a fix and flip. Maybe they want to renovate, whatever it may be. These people have my money. Tax brokers, the same thing. Coaches and consultants, the same thing. They all have programs where they help people accomplish a goal. But what do we all need, as we just said? More money. So I add value to those people, and then I pay them a percentage back based on what I get their clients or their people funding. When it comes to banking relationships, we talk about how you can build relationships with these people, because most people don't know that the banks actually want to give out money. A lot of us, we were taught, don't ask the bankers questions, don't do that, they're against you. No, the bankers make money off of you getting approved for funding. They're counting on you not being able to pay the interest or going a lot in bad debt, which we know that that's not the case, because we teach people how to leverage data to create income, right? So a couple ways you all can go build relationships with these bankers. First thing is go into a branch, and you can ask one, to speak to a relationship banking manager. Once you speak to that person, what you want to do is ask them a few questions. Say, hey, I work with people who are looking to grow their businesses, and most of them are looking for capital. All right. Most of them have good credit. You want to make sure that the people you're sending this person obviously have good credit. All right. We can break down what that looks like. Once they let you know if they do, you want to ask, do they work closely or directly with underwriting? The reason you want to ask is because this is going to let you know if they're a real player and someone who's going to be able to actually help you push applications through and actually get people higher limits. All right. Then another thing you can ask them is, do you all work with people nationwide or only local? So now if you're running a funding company, even if it's as a side hustle, guess what? Now if you can work with people that you meet from the internet, or if it's people that have to be in your area. So these are some questions that you can start asking, and usually those people are going to be more excited to work with you than you are to work with them. You know why? Because most people that they get don't qualify for these business credit cards. So now that they know us as a funding company works with people who have good credit, right? Because I teach you how to, audit a good profile, what that looks like. Now they're excited because now you can send them work and they get to grow in their company, because they're retail workers typically, which means the more applications they push through, the more money they get people, the better they look, the more they can grow, and the more recognition that they get from that company.
Man, my head about to explode on that one, Darius. That was some game. Yeah. So all right, so with the relationship banking manager, this is like, are they helping you get like credit cards, or are these business loans? What type of funding is this?
And so that's something that we discuss with the relationship manager, because some only do credit cards. Like one of my Chase plugs, he only works with credit cards. I have another plug over at Bank of America. They work with credit cards and lines of credit. The business lines of credit, typically your business needs to be in business for 2 years or more. So that's typically one of the differences between a credit card and a line of credit. So it really depends on the relationship banking manager. These are all questions that I teach you in depth how to ask and what positioning, so that you can know exactly what you're working with, who's going to be the most beneficial to you. The way it works is typically once you build that rapport, they'll be able to push your clients through via DocuSign. So when you go on a website, let's say you go to chase.com, you apply regular, you just go through an algorithm. They looked at your credit, they looked at your time in business, they make a decision. When you go through a relationship manager, what I do is I CC my client in with my relationship banking manager, and then from there, the banker takes over. They talk directly with my client, and then they have them sign off something via DocuSign, and they push the application through manually. So, and it has a note saying this is directly from them. So now we go into a different algorithm where they underwriting can make the decision, and that's how when you see people out here getting $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 limits, that's how they're doing it. Yeah.
So the banking manager is not necessarily like the underwriter, but they're the person who can kind of be able to pull the strings and kind of advocate. This is like a person that is in the bank that can kind of advocate for
push
you.
Directly work with underwriting. Exactly.
Right. So that's why you want to know if they work with the underwriter or
exactly.
Because if they don't, then does that mean you need to find somebody else?
Yeah, it means they could be. It's like they're not they're not that person. Yeah, so you probably want to find someone
Oh,
else.
because they still new, or
Yeah, or they don't got that much pull yet.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they
got
might
you.
be able to do some things for you, but you want someone who can directly work closely with underwriting, because that's how you're gonna be get those manual approvals. The most important thing is making sure you ask them, can you push my clients through manually? All right, because that lets them know that I'm not just going into a regular algorithm like everyone else who's applying online.
Got you. Okay,
Yes.
got you. Because the algorithm online is obviously way different than somebody internally.
100%. Totally different.
Got you. I didn't hear you reference like business loans. Like, so what are the difference? But like, do you not prefer to use business loans over like lines of credits and credit cards when it comes to new businesses?
Yeah, so my order is this, because I want you to be, my saying is fund responsibly. So typically business loans have higher interest rates, right?
Yeah.
The thing with business credit cards is typically about 80% of lenders have a 0% interest business credit card, which means, let's say you're starting a podcast. Now, if I go get you $100,000, right? Now you have the ability to go out, get the mics, get the setup, get the camera, get the cool logo, start your LLC. You get to do all these things, and now you have a year. Let's say we go to Chase, 0%, 12 months. Now you got a year before you have to start paying any interest. In the meantime, the only thing you have to do is pay a 1% minimum monthly. So let's say on $50,000, that's only $500 a month that you have to pay. Nobody's mad at paying $500 on $50,000 if you max out that card, right? Because your percentage that you pay back, the 1% is based on what you use.
Yeah.
So that's why I love 0% interest business credit cards. Second, I will go business lines of credit. Typically, there is interest on it, but it's low relatively. And the great thing about business lines of credit is you only get interest accrued on what you use. So, for example, if you were to get a $20,000 business line of credit, what happens is they drop into an account, business line of credit. You can literally, if you only want to use 10 to go work on a project, you just move the 10 over to your business checking, and now your interest is only on that $10,000 versus the whole 20. Versus when you get a loan, the interest is typically a little higher, and then the interest is on the whole amount.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
if you got
that's usually my
$100,000
last
loan,
option.
it's $100,000 even if you don't use it.
Even if you don't use it. And then there's no doc with credit cards. A lot of credit cards we get people, brand new business owners, don't have revenue coming in. They can still go out and get funding, which is the beautiful thing, because most people are under the misconception you already need to be in business 2 years. You need to have some business revenue. No, if you know what you're doing, right, which is what we break down, then you can go out and get the funding even as a brand new business owner.
Talk to the listeners about like previously, like a few months back, we had a guest talk about like credit card stacking, which is like you pretty much applying for credit cards that pull from the same credit agency as all three of them.
Yeah.
How do you get that information? How do you kind of like plan out? Because I'm assuming that's something that you practice as well.
Oh, yeah.
How do you plan that process out to make sure that, you are kind of playing it to the best way possible and not messing yourself up by, taking on too many inquiries at one time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why the power of getting in the room, right? So one thing I've done, I learned a lot of this stuff through mentorship, but also just trial and error. So definitely what we do a lot of times when I teach credit card stacking, and this is something that what credit card stacking is, y'all, is creating a situation where you can get the most amount of money, right? So what we do is you can stack vertically or horizontally. The difference is when you stack vertically is you applying for one credit card from each bureau. So if I wanted to apply from a bank that pulls from American Express, I could go BOA. If I wanted to apply for a bank that pulls from Equifax, I could go KeyBank. If I wanted to apply for a bank that pulls from TransUnion, I could go US Bank. Now I've gotten 3 business credit cards, and I've only gotten 1 inquiry on each bureau, right? Because that inquiry, when I applied for BOA, they only pulled from Experian. So now what we can do is we can go 3 more cards, 1 more from Experian, 1 from Equifax, 1 from TransUnion, and then we can do the same thing. The other option is stacking horizontally. That's where we go apply for all Experians, all TransUnions, then all Equifaxes. So for example, if I want to do a full funding sequence, I could go do American Express. They're going to pull from Experian. You can get up to 5 business credit cards with just 1 inquiry. You go Navy Fed, because on the business side, they do pull from Experian, and then we talked about BOA. Now I just got 5 from Amex, 1 from Navy, and 1 from BOA. That's 7 business credit cards just from Experian. But guess what? That's going to give me 3 inquiries, and now I can go to the next bureau, where I can go from Elan Financial Banks, Elan, ELAN. Every state has Elan Financial Banks. There's just smaller banks that are powered by a third-party company called Elan. Typically 0% interest, 12 months out the gate. 0% interest also for 18 months. They have a business credit card, and they all look They all look synonymous. You can come out, get $15,000 to $25,000. Then we talk about U.S. Bank and we talk about Univest. So now I just got 3 more business credit cards that only pulled from TransUnion. And then you can go Equifax, you can go KeyBank, you can go Truist, and then you can go Citizens Bank. Right, so just like that, we've gotten 7 plus 3 plus 3. We're talking about 13 business credit cards.
That's the vertical or that's the horizontal?
That would be horizontal.
The horizontal sound more advantageous than the vertical because when you listed the vertical, that was like you really getting 3 because you went like 1 Equifax, 1 TransUnion, 1.
No, you're getting one on each bureau because remember the Equifax is only going to see the Equifax one. The TransUnion is only going to see the TransUnion one. So now I have 1 on all 3 bureaus. So now I can go to the next set of 3 and then the next set of 3. So it's the same exact thing. It's just doing it 2 different ways.
Got you. So, all right. So another piece of advice we got that I want to confirm with you, right, is like setting up the computer, right? And you got like 3, maybe 5, 6 applications.
They don't do none of that. We simply apply. That's that Instagram hack guru stuff.
All right, so that don't really work. Like if you hit submit at the same time.
It's not that it doesn't work. It's that it doesn't make a difference. You can simply just apply for one credit card after the other. You're still going to get the inquiry. It's still going to work the same. I know back in the day, people used to teach, pull up all the tabs, go to the next.
And hit submit at the same time, and they're not going to be able to see the last inquiry.
It's the same thing.
It don't really work like that?
It doesn't really
so they'll still see the inquiry?
They're still going to see the inquiry. Yes. You're still going to get the same inquiries whether you're not. When we apply for American Express, what we do is we simply apply. You can go to Blue Cash, then you simply apply again. Blue Plus, you simply apply again. Gold, Silver, Platinum, back to back to back. It's still going to be only one inquiry. It's based on the rules of the bank. It's not based on you pulling up multiple tabs. People taught that because it's the Instagram, right? At Bank of America, they'll allow you to get 3 business credit cards with 1 inquiry. So what happened was most people were saying, oh, you want to apply back to back? It doesn't make a difference. You're still going to get the 1 inquiry. If you just apply, go to the next one, just apply, go to the next one, just apply. So no, you don't have to do this. Smack.
I don't think it was like, and again, I'm not in this industry, so I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So I don't think that it was saying like trying to like get out of getting the inquiry. It was more so trying to get out of, let's say
the bureau seeing it
so let's say like Equifax. If I'm applying for all these cards from Equifax, before, like if I go to, and I don't know if this is accurate, but I'm just gonna throw out banks that I'm familiar with. Like let's say PNC and Bank of America and Discover all use Equifax, right? If I apply for the 3 cards for PNC, the reason why you want to have the other tabs with Bank of America and Discover open is so that if you wait too long and you already apply for the PNC, now they see that you apply for credit with PNC.
No, because the account takes 30 days to report. That's why it doesn't make a difference.
Got you.
Yeah.
So thanks for clarifying.
All new accounts take 30 days to report, which is why when you get business inquiries, when you get inquiries when applying for business credit cards, you can always remove them, right? You can always remove the inquiry. You know why? Because the account will never ever report to your personal. So because that, when we go dispute an inquiry, it doesn't affect us. The reason you don't really want to necessarily remove inquiries on the personal side is because, especially after 30 days, because now that account is reporting, when you go say, oh, I never applied for that account, guess what? The bureau says, okay, so you're reporting fraud. So now there's a chance that your account can be now closed, right? So that's the difference between business and personal when it comes to inquiries.
Got you. But if it's a business card, you can get the inquiry removed off your personal.
Exactly, because the account will never report to your personal. So they see you disputing the inquiry, but they're like, okay, there's no account there, so we just remove it. Yeah.
Okay, that's some game too.
And now that we removed all the inquiries, guess what? We can go get more funding. This is how you see people getting $500,000, $700, $1 million in funding, because anytime we get those accounts, no business account should ever be reporting to your business name. That's why we love leverage. So like, let's say you go max out your business credit cards on your business. Guess what? As long as you're making your minimum payment, because we do still have to pay that, of course, right? We have to pay those people back. I want to be clear. But you have just a minimum payment. As long as you're making that, your DTI doesn't go out of whack. Your utilization doesn't go through the roof. Versus if you over leverage your personal credit, now we can shoot ourselves in the foot, right? Because now we have to worry about how do I pay that back, which we got plays for that as well. But it's just a little more work that you got to do.
Yeah. Speaking of plays for that, one that I'm working on is, again, taking the business credit to just transfer all my personal debt to the business debt. Okay. So then kind of like wipes that clear.
Good. That's good.
So, okay, appreciate you for clearing that up. So it makes a lot of sense. You don't have to do it all in the same hour. Just as long as you do it in the same day, maybe same 2 days.
I say same 3, 4 days. Get all your approvals in.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Got you. Transition it a little bit. So now we passed the leverage part. Let's talk about now how we can manufacture leverage for ourselves in business. You know, you can manufacture leverage a whole lot of ways with like good offers,
absolutely,
obviously with marketing and stuff like that.
absolutely,
Let's talk about, before we get into the marketing, let's talk about the foundation, which is having a good offer. How is the
absolutely.
business going to make money? In your experience, what has like what practices or principles have you implemented to make sure that you have solid offers and can continue
That's a
to
lot.
create new solid offers for
Yeah.
your business?
So that's a great question. So the greatest thing you can do to make your offer better is simply ask people. So one thing we've done is our offer, man, like this year in 2024. So we have our service business, which is the funding, but then we have our education company, which is the teaching. In all of 2024, we've had 2 chargebacks, right? Because what we've done is we always ask our customers, hey, what can be better? Rate us 1 through 10. What do you like? What don't you like? And on the what don't you like, we tell them we need you to be transparent so we continue to make this thing better. So what you want to look at when making a good offer is time. How can I allow someone to buy back their time? That's the point of an offer. People pay us to take away a part of their problems, right? And then the second thing is how can they get the goal by doing less work, which is us as coaches, consultants. Our job is to make it so a person doesn't have to leave me and go to Google for hours. That's why you pay me, right? So you always want to think of those 2 things: time and how can I make that my person's life easier. So for example, for us, one of my offers for our service base is done for you funding. The reason it's a great offer is because there's no fee up front. So when someone comes to me, they're like, well, you're going to give me funding. I don't have to pay you anything up front. Yeah. Second thing is I don't get paid unless they get paid. So if we go get them $100,000, we charge 10%, which would be $10,000. If we only get them 50,000, we only get 5,000. So it's essentially an offer where we only eat what we kill. It's a win-win situation. So I believe the best thing you can do for your customers when you're creating offers is create a win-win situation. All right. In our education business, it's how can we add more support to people, right? For example, more people said, man, this is amazing. If I could have a one-on-one access, it would be even better. So I said, okay. So now we have a CSM, which is called a client success manager, where Corey, she's crushing it. She's been through our program. She's a vet. And now she meets with everyone who's in our program for one-on-one. So now they get those touch points outside of the calls and mastermind calls with me. Another thing that I know people were wanting more of, man, I wish we could do more masterminding with our peers, seeing what's working for them, what's not working. So now we have something called Sparring Sundays, where I don't even have to be on that call. That's a call amongst them, what's working for you. So imagine you had a podcast community and you got all these podcasters, and now they're like, man, well, Q taught us on Tuesday, we masterminded, but now let's see what's working for so-and-so. Let's see what's working for you, what's not working, how's this working? Because now they build that community. And what this does is it allows them to build confidence. One of the biggest things I learned about the coaching space, we think that we're selling information, but we're actually selling confidence. Most people, when they come to us, they have a belief issue. So the biggest and the best thing we can do for people is actually shift their beliefs. For example, I got a girl in my program, and when she came to me, she hadn't made money. Her question was, does this work? Last month, she did $28,000. And she says she's so thankful because she had never been in an environment where she saw so many people who look like us being successful. So just seeing that for her, let her know, oh, shoot, I can go out and do this myself. And we meet every week, whether it's the mastermind calls with me, with each other, or with our team. So that's been something that's changed the game as well. And then in-persons, adding those in-persons quarterly has taken things up a whole nother notch, because it's one thing to be on Zoom, get the game, is great. But when you get in person, that transfer of energy is just different. It just takes people from what I like to call possible to probable. So you want to find a way to take people consistently from possible to probable. It's easy. Oh, I see all these things happening, but no, when you're in the actual field, when you're there, you're in the room, we're doing hands-on training. Now it becomes probable because you see that it works. So those are some ways that you can make your offer better. And the better your offer is, the easier it is to sell. Like, we don't have people like, oh, you're really good at marketing. I am good at marketing, but it's easy to market when your product's good. For example, I got 32 people who've been through my program who have now made 6 figures. It's so easy to just show that. It will allow them to do the talking for us, right? Like at our last in-person we just did, it was just, we sold, we made an offer. It was easy because I didn't have to sell hard. I didn't have to be up there, screaming. All I had to do was say, so-and-so, tell them about the results you've gotten. When they hear that, they know that that person is just like me, right? Because a lot of times they're looking at us like, oh, these people are superheroes or they're this or that. No, we're the same, but they don't know that. So when they hear from someone that was in their peers, now it makes it an easier sell. Yeah, so those are some things that could make your offer a lot better.
Yeah, it does. And one thing you brought up that I like was the CSM, the Client Success Manager.
Yeah.
I think that's some game, and automatically it kind of just brought me back to like the traditional account manager, right? Like,
Yeah.
is that a new solution now, that especially if you have a service-based business and you have, you know, tens to 20 to hundreds of clients that you're servicing on a monthly basis, having account manager or managers
You need it.
to service in, you know, just kind of check up and maintenance each of these clients.
It's everything. Like, people don't realize how important customer service is. Like, I was Russell Brunson, owner of ClickFunnels. I seen like his sheet of like the positions hired in each department, and everyone was like a couple, but then when it came to customer service, it was like 50 people, because the better the customer service, the easier it is to sell more. For example, most people don't make enough offers, right? Most people don't have the ability to make more offers because they haven't served their customers at a high level, at the ground-based level.
Yeah.
About a third of my inner circle, which is my $25,000 offer, they come from our 6-figure secrets program, because the service was so good, the customer was so good. When I go to make another offer, they want to, because why would someone want to go to a different coach when they've already been served well at one level? So most people think hiring a CSM is going to cost them. No, it's actually going to make you more money. And what you do is you can incentivize your CSM to upsell people, and they get a percentage now on that sale. So now it's a win-win situation. Again, win-win situations make your business easier. So if you can provide those and think, how can I add more value to the people, then guess what? You are in good hands. So rather than having an irresistible offer is very important, but making more offers is very important. Most people sell a person one thing one time and they think, well, that's it, I need new customers. No, you don't. Your best money is from people who've already bought from you, if your product is good.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for adding that clarity too, because essentially when you said make more offers, I can see how people would translate that to like, new people. Like, oh, I just got to pitch more, right? It's not more pitches, it's how can you maximize off of the one person who did say yes, right? So like, they said yes, now how many more times can we get them to say yes again?
Exactly.
Right, and so having customer service, like you're saying, is one way to be able to increase that likelihood, because
100%.
They're satisfied already, you now have a good relationship with them, and it's like you said, why go to someone else when I'm already getting good service from this person. And another way to make more money too is like the account manager or client success managers help, because with the fulfillment, if you doing all the fulfillment, you're more timid to make even the new offers, because you're like, damn, I didn't even fulfill. Like, we had that problem a while back. It was like, damn, I don't want to take on this new client because I still got XYZ videos to do, and you know, this hasn't even been fulfilled yet.
Absolutely. Systems is everything. Like, our team, I'm not gonna lie, we've done a good job this year. We have A players across the board. We have 5 virtual assistants. Our operations manager is on point. Our CSM is on point. And when you have these touch points, it makes it so much easier. Most people are working in their business when you want to be working on the business, right? So you want to be the person who uses your imagination, right? The highest form of wealth ladder is implementation is the lowest, unification second, which means putting things together. Third is going to be communication. So you want to be the person who communicates what people need to do. And then the highest level is imagination. We get paid to use our imagination, bring ideas to life, and put people in position to fulfill those ideas. So if you can do that in any business, you will make more money than you know what to do.
Yeah. And obviously, this isn't like, it's all good and it sounds good and all, but it's not cheap, get there. Right? It's not, and it's not cheap either. Like, you already shouted out her name, but I mean, not to get in her business, but how much on average are you paying like a client success manager or an account manager?
Yeah, I play anywhere from, you can start off base anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. Yeah, that could be a base plus incentives. So if there are incentives, like for example, 5% on an upsell, if she sells one of our $25,000,
and that's per month. Or per
that's per month.
Got you.
Yep, per month base, right? So $2,000 base per month plus incentive. So if they upsell people on a $20,000 offer and they're getting 5%, now you're looking at 15. Would it be 1,500
per deal?
Yeah, per deal. 1,000. Yep, 1,000 to 1,500 per deal, right? And then
so she do 3 of those, then that's another 3,000.
Exactly.
And then that's 3,000 plus the 2,000.
And then we have incentives for performance. So we have a grade performance. 1 to 5, you get your base. 5 to 10, you now get an extra $500 base. So there's so much incentives, and you want to create situations again that are win-win. So if they're doing what they need to do, like as our program goes, her base goes up, right? Because there's more people that she has to now work with and fulfill and make sure she's loving and caring on them. Because you want to think of it like this: the more you love on people, the easier it is to make money, right? Most people, they use the money to get the money. We use the money to get the people, right? So what you want to do is figure, how can I love on these people more? Because loving on them more is going to bring more money, right? Most people are just kind of doing it backwards. So you want to create win-win situations, and you'll always be good.
Yeah. Is Corey here, or is she
Yeah,
overseas?
she's no, she's not overseas. She's in Corey lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask that because that's like my next transition
Yeah.
too, because, you know, at one point we did reach a trend.
Okay.
Where like in business, everyone was, it was all about, like you said, like the how can we keep most of our money, and a way that people have identified that was we was going straight VAs.
Yeah.
You know, and so like what are the pros and cons in that you have seen in your business specifically? Like, because I could see how it would be hard with funding, like with the pros and cons of using VAs versus using somebody that's over here and kind of understands what's going on.
Makes sense.
A little bit differently. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll say use VAs for certain tasks, right? Like, for example, our VAs, they do our onboarding calls because those are simple. Onboarding
Scripted.
calls, scripted. You show them the school platform. You show them where to find the course. You show them where to find our group. You show them the schedule. Those are simple. When it comes to client success manager, you probably want that to be someone here in America, and you want that to someone to be who has a baseline, at least a foundation of what you do, because they actually have to be able to show these people, you know, what a credit profile looks like. Like, we do a credit profile audit. As soon as you come in my program, you sign up, you get a credit profile audit. Corey's going to look at your profile, see what's happening, what's working, where you're at, and then give you a game plan, right? So that takes a little more, I guess, intuitiveness. So you're going to want that to be you're probably someone here based in America. Operations manager can be either or. Mine, Susie, she's amazing. She changed our whole business around. She's based out in Spain, and she oversees all of our VAs. She oversees all of the business, essentially. She's damn near a COO. So what I do is I bring things to light. I think of things and she brings them to life, right? So that it can be costly if they're in America, but you know, she makes good money, but nothing that's like killing me, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not killing you because it's a return. It's a return.
It makes our
you
business
more money.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. When would you advise a business owner, like, make that the goal to get? Because I see so many instances where it's beneficial to have a COO.
Yeah.
Especially if your strengths are more so as the innovator.
Exactly.
You're going to need an integrator.
100%.
Right. So, and not everyone is wired to be an integrator.
Yes.
And that's where we fall short, is because we're trying to be both the innovator and the integrator.
Exactly.
And that's not our strong suit. So when is it beneficial for a business owner to start looking and trying to
find it,
really hire a management level employee?
I would say as soon as you start making money. Here's the thing, right? What most people do is they get the money and they forget that the money is not their money, it's their business's money. So what happens is you shouldn't be worried about profits that you keep at first, right? Mm-hmm. You should be worried about reinvesting back into the business, into everything that makes the business run, so you can work on the business, not in the business. So first it might be a VA. Right? As soon as you make any money, go hire VAs so that they can start doing the tasks that you want. You don't want to do emails. You don't want to do text message. You don't want to check up on fulfillment. Get a VA to do those. As your business starts to make more money, now let's go get an operations manager who can now oversee the VAs as you're getting more volume, right? Don't worry about profit first. I didn't worry about profit till probably like 6 months into the business, all right? Because at that point, now the business was running smoothly and we had enough money to where after I felt like I could keep profits and the business could continue to run, all right? Mm-hmm. Between hiring the right people and then marketing, all right? Those are gonna be your two biggest expenses. Marketing, you need to be like, you know, I tell people this: if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right? You need to get in front of as much eyeballs as possible. There's podcasts, right? You can go podcasts, you can go shout out pages, you can go Facebook ads, you can go influencers, you can go micro influencers, you can go into other people's communities. That's a play that helps you directly make money. So one of the plays we teach my students as funding companies is reach out to people like yourself who have coaching programs, because all of you all have people who are looking to grow their business. So the way I tell them to do is, hey, how are you? I see you have a community, or I see you have a program. I would love to come teach your students funding, how to get access to funding to grow their businesses. You go in there, we get free value. I'm giving out how to build a profile. I'm giving out banks. I'm allowing them to get pre-qualified on these calls. So by the time that call is done, I've built their trust. Now I say, hey, how many of you all would like me to get you funding so that you can, now grow into whatever business you got going on? Now the people who qualify, if you got 20 people in your community, it might only be 3 or 4. Guess what? 3 or 4 though, times us getting them $100,000, now that's $30,000, $40,000 in commission. And the reason you're incentivized is because I kick you back 1.5 to 3% of the 10% that I'm charging. So now you get anywhere from $15,000 to $3,000 per person that I able to leverage from your community. So it's a win for you because your group now got a lot of value. Now they learned some stuff and you also made some money. And it's a win for me because I got to go into your community without having to spend any money and get qualified leads, right? Mm-hmm. Going back to leverage. So that's a marketing strategy that we use. But outside of that, you need to get in front of more eyeballs if you want to dominate. Most people just want to survive. No, I want you to thrive. I want you to dominate because the time we live in is the easiest time ever to dominate in any industry that you're in. It's eyeballs. Once you got a good product, it's just eyeballs.
Yeah. That's just simply why social media isn't going anywhere because it's all about eyeballs. That's literally why how people make their money is off the eyeballs.
That's it.
You said something that I wanted to touch back on, which is something that is extremely hard, in this day and age, which is you said don't take your profits. Don't take the profits because the profits aren't yours, it's the business.
That's leverage. What you said. Absolutely.
And to be real, Darius, that's hard for a lot of people. You know why?
Yeah.
Because most people is like we're so fast to leave that 9 to 5 or that day job to go into this business thing full time just to be able to scream that we're a full-time entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And so now as a full-time entrepreneur that got bills to pay, how can you not take profits? Like those, how do you not take profits when profits are there? So
what do you take? You take little. You take what you need. It's discipline, right? And if it was easy, everybody would do it. So you either going to be disciplined or you're going to work for somebody who's disciplined. So if you got profits, do what you need to do. If you got bills, you got to take care of those. Everything else should go back into the business. I ain't saying don't take none of the profits. Do what you need to do, but don't go out eating the filet mignon. Eat what you got to eat until you can get right. See, most people, they don't want to go through the phase of doing what you have to do so one day you can do what you want to do. Most people just go into doing what they want to do. But, it's hard. You got to choose your hard. Being broke is hard. Making money is hard. Choose your hard. They're both hard. So you got to do what you have to do so one day you can do what you want to do.
Yeah. I'm always a fan of and I feel like you might think differently just about how you worded it. Like you could work for, not really, because you are working for somebody that's more disciplined, right? Yeah. Essentially. But I'm a fan of keeping that job until it no longer serves you.
Absolutely.
Right? Like
absolutely.
It just makes the most sense. Like, because even me, like I'm being frank, like myself, I still have a job.
Yeah.
But I have that job because right now it just fully serves me. One, my son's daycare is free because I work there.
Yeah.
2, it's like it also feeds into what I'm doing. Like it's related to what I'm doing. So I'm also learning. It gives
you value.
And I get a lot of use out of like equipment, all kinds of stuff. But if it didn't serve me, then I wouldn't be in that position. I would go find something else. And that's what I think people do. They automatically just think, oh, if I get a job, I'm a failure as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely not.
When you can really leverage. There's a whole lot of different jobs out here.
It's leverage.
You can get something that's the perfect situation for you that allows you to still work on your business.
100%.
That gives you the information in the game that satisfies and 100%. Helps you learn about how you can be better in your business.
Absolutely.
It don't have to be. I think people think every job is like McDonald's, where it's just you wasting your time on the clock and you can't work on what you should be working on.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything is an opportunity to learn from, man. Like you said, a lot of jobs teach a lot of skills, right? Like if you're in a position where you do skills, you do sales, guess what? You're directly becoming good at what we call transferable skills, right? If you're in a place where you got to communicate with people, relationship building, skills. So all these things are skills. And I'm not a person who tell people quit their job. I'm not. I tell people leverage your job as your business partner. Find a job that serves you. Like you said, it allows you to develop skills that you don't have, because most jobs, they do give you an ability to develop skills. For me, I quit just because other reasons. I
They ain't serve you.
Yeah,
let's say that.
And I got ADHD. I couldn't sit down for those 8 hours. But I would never tell, and even in my program, they know I don't tell you quit your job. That's for you to decide. But I tell you, for those who say they want to, put a date on it, because that means you got to hold yourself accountable and you got to put that work in. Because I had a gentleman in my program the other day. He was like, "Man, I feel like the job's holding me back." I said, "No, don't blame the job. It's you, right? It's all about us and taking accountability. You allowing the job to hold you back for whatever reason. That's 100% on you."
Whether it's because it's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, like sometimes jobs can be tough, but like you said earlier, it's about being disciplined. You got to do what you have to do, and so you can do what you want to do 100%. Later on. And most of us, 9 to 5 ain't no short amount of time.
Facts.
9 to 4 ain't no short amount of time. And so like you spending a lot of time. I've been in that position, and sometimes I still fall into that trend where, after work, you just want to decompress. You don't want to go spend another 2-3 hours on the business, You just want to lay down, you just want to chill, watch some football, whatever. But facts. It's like, you just got to grind, and you got to do what you got to do.
100%.
And one thing that gets me right every time is like, damn, I just made X amount of dollars, and the business made X amount of dollars, and I don't need none of that money because I got this money. So I could just put all that into buying more equipment, buying ads, whatever I need to do.
Absolutely.
The business money is truly the business money, and that's why I like, still keeping that job as long as you can and as long as it serves you, because the business money stays the business money.
100%. See, I was the opposite. When I had quit, I was like, when I started, I'm like, the pressure's on me. So it's like, and I believe in some cases, pressure is a good thing, because pressure will force you to gotta make more. Like I'd be like, damn,
that's how diamonds are made. You need pressure to make a diamond.
No cap. And then that pressure on you just gotta keep going, keep working, and force you to become something different. So yeah. Those are some dope points.
Man, your hat. I keep looking at your hat. It's dope, by the way. I don't know where you got it, but I need to get me one of those. Like, if y'all can't see it, say "Business is War."
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Kareem over at Pretty Ugly Media. That's my brother.
Man. And it's a statement, because it really is. Like, and when I'm first, let me ask you, "Business is War." What does that mean to you? Like, kind of like break that down and spin your own poetic spin to it.
So in layman's terms, it's changed over the time. When he first started his brand, because we used to do, it's crazy. I used to do nightlife, and he had his brand, I had my brand. So when he used to rock it all the time, I thought business is war meant me versus you. And I'm like, all right, cool, because I'm competitive.
Okay,
right?
all right. Okay.
But what I realized is business is war just means business is hard. Like, business, you're gonna go through trials and tribulations. Like, business is the work working on you first until you become the person that the work can start to work for, right? Because most people don't want to go through the war part. Most people don't want to go through the trials where people not liking your posts, people not supporting you, people not believing in you, but it's not their job to believe you, right? I believe it's your job to have so much faith in yourself that you can continue to do the work until the work starts working for you. Now you're making money. Now you're getting all the comments. Now people know your brand. But the time period of when you're going from it not working to working is that war part. That's the part where it's really you versus you versus who you were yesterday. And I believe that is the key of what we see successful people versus non-successful people. Some people make a decision one time, they're not going to make it. Some people make a decision every single day to show up as their best selves and be who they need to be, again, so they can be in the position that they want to be in. So that's what business is war means to me.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. That's a dope perception to have. For me, I would say it's something similar, but the first thing I'm emphasizing on that war part, right?
Yeah.
And like, when you look at like some of the greatest generals, to like Genghis Khan, and you got Alexander the Great, and you got these different military generals, it's all about what it all boiled down to is the strategy.
Facts.
Right? And like that's what I think like business is about. Strategy. It's like how, because you're going to be having these different fleets coming at you from different angles. And you got to have it straight. Like, some of them may be trying to come at nighttime, some trying to tear down the walls. Like, so you got life coming at you, you got bills coming at you, you got kids, whatever. Everything. And you just got to be able to like sit down in the tent, like go in the tent outside of all the noise and come up with a strategy that's going to get you to win that war. And when I see that, I'm like, damn, that's hard, because like it really is a war, because you got to be strategic.
Got to.
That's how you win wars, is being strategic.
That's a fact.
And speaking of strategy, first of all, you guys send me the link so I can get one of those too. Right?
Oh yeah, I got you.
And speaking of strategic, the next part of the strategy of this business thing is marketing. Like, marketing is the strategy. Like, when you look at business, you got operations, that's a whole nother strategic side of the business. But then you got marketing, which is a whole nother beast, of the operations and the business. And that's where you that's where you kind of show off to the world. Like that's the like front facing. That's the militia.
Yeah.
Like your marketing is
It's
like
everything.
the Marines. You know, they the
Absolutely.
first in. You know, this is the first thing people see when it comes to your business. So like talk about, you know, ways that your marketing has improved over time. One way that you mentioned that I like, you know, is the leverage, like how you leverage other people's communities and things like that. Shoot, we doing it right now.
Yeah.
You know, on the show, you leveraging
Absolutely.
our community, and you know, you provide some good game in return. But talk about those ways that it's like evolved over time for your business.
For sure. So for us, our foundation and the way we grew so fast was really just providing value. I believe the best marketing is what I call free sample marketing, right? You know how you go to the mall, you go to the kiosk, the food court, the Chinese place they've been around for years, right? They're gonna give you a free sample, and when they give you the free sample, they're not giving you chicken and say go buy a steak. No, they're giving you exactly what you're gonna get. So for us, like if my content, I give away a lot of free information, and the reason we know it works is because, you know, we track a lot of data. So my sales team, when they talk to people, hey, what made you buy from us, right? They always say, well, I just felt like he gave out so much game. I just felt like, you know, he didn't just have Lambos on the screen or big chains. No, I felt like what he gave us, I know that he knows what he's talking about. So I tell you again, going back to loving on the people and the money will come, go out and provide the most value. So one thing y'all could do, I'll give them a prompt. Actually, one thing we do is go to ChatGPT and type in, give me a list of the 10 most common questions that people people looking to start X business want to know. Now what'll happen is you are creating content around all of your ideal audience's problems. So I like to say, like, you know, you go to church on a Sunday and pastor, people be like, dang, pastor talking right to me. It's because he already knows all the common objections that people have. He already knows whatever you were doing. You were out, you were sinning, you was doing this. You want to be that person for your industry. So one thing I do is I solve all the problems. I know people got high utilization. I know people want funding. I know brand new business owners want to know where to go to get funding. I know they want to know what to do with the funding, so I speak to those things. So that's been a huge part of our marketing strategy. And then one thing we do a great job of is retargeting. So I understand that it takes the average person anywhere from 5 to 15 times before they make a purchase. That's perfectly fine with me. Now that I know that, I can operate with clarity and understanding, okay, what do we do when people get in our pipeline, right? So like we run webinars. So I know that the person might come to a free class. Just because they came to a free class don't mean they're going to buy from me. They might need to go to 3. So we have something called hyros.com, right? HYROS. And it tells us that the average person needs to come to 5 to 6 of my free classes before they make a purchasing decision. Now that I know that, if I know one webinar, I didn't make a lot of money, I'm not worried because I just know that we have back end equity, right? I need to keep loving on those people for those people to now buy in. So when you understand your business and the numbers, it makes it so much easier to run a business. Most people, they get frustrated and they quit because they don't know, it didn't work. Well, no, it didn't work yet. Again, getting to work on you. So we do that. We do a lot of emails, a lot of texts, because again, the money is in the follow-up. And then again, leveraging other people's audience. Podcasts have changed the game. One thing about podcasts that's cool is I get to come on, I get to give your audience free value. Not only that though, this is gonna go on YouTube. YouTube is now evergreen. Studies show that people who watch YouTube videos from me are much more likely to buy my $10, $20, and $30,000 offers than Instagram. Why? Because Instagram's a 30-second clip. That's
and
cool.
really, that 30 seconds is too long now for Instagram. They're saying the best length video is
10 to 20.
10 to 12 seconds.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
On YouTube, people are directly going there to learn what I teach. They type in credit, funding, I come up. So they're there for that, and then they get to spend more time, right? Conversation equals conversion. Someone gets to know me, my story, where I came from. They might like something I do. Now they want to shop with me because they've gotten to spend more time, right? So that's one thing that we use with this podcast. Another thing we'll do is we'll take it, we'll cut it up. You can go to opus.io or opus.pro, put it in there, and now it's going to cut up clips. Now we can use those short form clips for Instagram. We can put those on bigger pages like Hollywood Unlocked, World Star, wherever you want to put it. And again, getting in front of more eyeballs. So these are all things that we've been able to do to just drive traffic. And then I talked about leveraging other people's communities.
1000%. I mean, it really is a game changer nowadays, social media. But like you said, with YouTube, it is evergreen. And that's like the main thing that I tell, even the people who work with me when they're starting the podcast is like, you got to put most of your focus on YouTube. Most people trying to grow on Instagram. And I'm like, Instagram not where your audience is. The audience is going to be on YouTube for what you said. They spend more time with you. Anybody watching a video for 45 minutes or more, and then they go watch another video, that's a
They
hot
rock with
lead.
you.
That's
Absolutely.
a hot,
That's a
that's a hot
very
lead.
good lead.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
like, why not, put most of your focus in growing that platform
100%.
and then just kind of leaking the stuff over to the other
That's
platform.
it.
It's just going to trickle. It's a trickle down effect.
That's it.
Man, I want to spend some time talking about, man, because you gave me some game earlier about like the next boot camp coming up, and I was able to make the first one that you and Dion had last year in December, and that was like hella game.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine with like the new information you learning every day, like the success that you're seeing, the success that your clients are seeing, what you're going to implement in this next boot camp. So tell our listeners about like what's coming up December 11th to the 13th, and like what they should be expecting. So they can go ahead and get them tickets, because I know it's going to be some heat.
Oh, it's going to be different. This one going to be different. So this one coming up December 11th through 13th, a 3-day boot camp, y'all, where I'm going to be showing you how to set your credit profile to get you in position to where now you can go out and do the things we talked about. So day one, we're going to be breaking down credit profile, how to fix your credit, build your credit, and really get a fundable profile. Day two, we're going to go into funding. That's what we do, live funding. Last boot camp we did this last month, we funded $3.2 million live on our call on day two. So y'all gonna be able to come out there. We have people with bad credit, decent credit, of course, good credit, who got funded. So if you're someone who you want to fence, your credit's decent, make sure you get your butt in the room so we can see if you got some offers. So we call them pre-approval banks that we work with that allow people to see if they have offers before actually accepting the offer, so that they don't have to worry about wasting an inquiry. So we're gonna be doing that day two, and I'm gonna show y'all how to go out and get access to up to $150,000 in funding, what banks are looking for, how you all can get in position to get with these banks, and then how to find banks on your own. Let's say you don't want to use my banks. Cool. I'm going to teach you how to do your own research. So everything fun is going to be day two, and then day three, I'm going to show you all how to create cash flow. We ran up, a little over $500,000 just with funding. So I'm going to show you all how to be able to do that, how to run a 6-figure funding company part-time. So it's not something you got to spend a lot of hours where I know a lot of businesses, people got to dedicate a whole lot of time to. The thing with business running a funding company is it's so dope because literally you can spend 4 to 5 hours a week, all right, and you can really run a 6-figure company. Put it like this is the only business I know that you can get one client a month and go make 6 figures. One client a month, you get them $100,000, that's a $10,000 payout. 12 of those, 12 months, that's $120,000 just for one client that you don't have to go find. I'm going to show you also how you can be what we call a 6-figure funding broker. So let's say you don't want to do the funding. I'm going to teach you how you can be the bridge between the gap, and what you can do is you can make money without doing any work. So I got some sauce. It's going to be heavy. So make sure y'all get in the room. All y'all got to do is follow me at Darius Benders, and make sure you DM me the word boot camp, and you'll get a ticket. And for those of y'all who DM me the word boot camp who are watching this, for you, it's only going to be $32 for general and $132 for VIP. And VIP, you'll get to ask me questions for a whole hour every single day.
That's dope. That's dope. That VIP is definitely beneficial. Like anytime you could stay at the end and like ask those specific questions and get them answered, like that's always going to be
change the game.
that changed the game. Every time I signed up for a VIP, it was definitely worth it.
For sure.
But man, that live funding call on day two,
crazy.
That sounds. I would love to be the lucky individuals that get the live funding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you said $3.2 million in one day. And how many people did you do the live funding with?
We had on the last one 205 people on there. On day two, we had about 185. About 185 were there.
Wait, all right. So you didn't do live funding for all 185 people?
Yeah, you do live funding for everybody. So yeah, everybody who's on the call is gonna have an opportunity to get funded. Everyone who's on the call.
Wait. All right, wait.
Yeah.
How does this work? All right, so man.
So the way it works is this. So what happens is we're on a call and I break down, hey, you all, we're about to do some live funding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to drop the links in the chat. And what I do is I walk them through how to fill out the pre-approval sheet, and they get to see if they have offers right there on the call. Yeah, game different.
All right, so all right, so all right, so earlier I asked you, right?
Yeah.
How do they need to come?
Yeah.
To be prepared. You said come as you are, but I feel like if you going to get approved and get that live funding,
for the live funding, typically,
like what do you like? Yeah. By December 11th, where do they need to be? So on December 12th, they got a high chance.
The biggest thing they need to do is they need to make sure that their credit profile is not frozen and make sure it's unlocked. If you do those things, get in the room. We're gonna take care of the rest, and we're gonna do some pre-approvals for people with bad credit too. So like there are certain lenders that they'll give people based on their time in business and business revenue offers, even if they got bad bad credit. So for example, last time we had a lady with a 588, and she got pre-approved from Rock Financial for $122,000.
And they should have a business. They should have an LLC.
For that particular lender, they do need an LLC. But most of these plays I'm going to give them, not most, about half are going to be personal plays. So we're going to go some personal funding, and then we'll go a few business funding. So,
Gotcha. So on day 2, you don't necessarily have to have an LLC. You can get funded with your personal.
Yeah, you get funded with just your personal. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shoot, y'all gonna see. Y'all might even see me on there.
Hey, he gonna be there.
That day two is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got my eyes lit up wide for day 2.
Yeah.
The live funding is big.
Yeah.
We was talking about like who this could be for, and I could easily see this being for like we talked about like coaches and consultants, people who have a service based business.
Absolutely.
Especially if your services are like really a $500 or more.
Absolutely.
You know, you got services that's $500 or more. I could definitely see this for like roofers,
absolutely,
construction work, like floor, like people who do flooring. Because now that we purchased a home, these are like all the things that top of my mind. Right? Somebody who do roofing, somebody who do like if you do roofing and you tell me you can fix my roof, I would prefer for you to have an option for me to get funded, so I don't have to come out of pocket.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you do like those types of services, having somebody like you or learning how to, have a whole funding department of your business is advantageous. Like super advantageous. Car dealerships at first ain't always have a funding department, but they saw a need. Like it's like, damn, we can't sell no cars if nobody can afford them.
Exactly.
We're going to have to do something.
100%.
So you got to finance a department, and even like what the banks, most of them wasn't doing mortgages, but now. They all have to do mortgages. So it's like there's different. They developing. So having a funding or financing arm of your business is just advantageous for your business. Helps you convert more leads, etc. Man, Darius, tell listeners about like anything that we might have been missing from this call, what they could be looking forward to the most. Again, you told them how to plug in with you, but just how to tap in and anything that they might be needing that we did not mention to get ready for December 11th.
Oh man, all y'all gotta do is show up. Listen, credit repair specialists, tax brokers, realtors, any service-based business, y'all. The key, I always say this, people say, if you want people to like you, go sell ice cream. I think that's a lie. I say, if you want people to like you, start a funding company. There's most people.
That's how you get people to love you.
That's people love me, right? People love me. I get people money. You change people's lives. There's no more impactful business than that, right? My big motto is fund responsibly. But I want you to imagine this. People always say, well, what if, it doesn't work? Well, imagine a life where you never get to go out and bet on yourself. That's what it's like when you don't have leverage. That's what it's like when you don't have capital. You touched base on it earlier. People get so discouraged because they come up with these great ideas, they put in the work, then they run into the same wall, right? And my biggest saying is, if you want the outcome to change, the inputs have to change. So if you've been doing something and it hasn't been working, the only way for that to change is if your actions change. So keep doing this. To continue to do the same thing that has not been working is insanity. So I challenge everyone going into this new year to make sure that you do something different so you can get a different result. And December 11th is going to be the start of a lot of people's new lives. So make sure y'all tap in, man. I'm super excited to coach the people, to love on the people, and to help the people. Make sure y'all come ready to commit. I say the biggest thing people do is they just don't commit. They don't go all in. So for that week, just show up, man. I'm going to do the rest. It's going to be information on me, execution on y'all.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to do more than show up, Darius. I'm going to show up and show out.
Let's go.
I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to put in my ticket now for that VIP class.
Let's go.
Because I know I'm going to have some questions. Yeah. Because I always do. I sit on these calls. I'm like, damn.
If I can just ask.
I can't ask because I didn't do VIP. $32 to $132 for our community.
Yep.
Look, I want to see if we got 100 people in the comments. I want to see 100 people in that VIP.
That's it.
Right. And so what I want y'all to do right now before you leave us, make sure you like and share this to a friend that needs this information. Mm-hmm. Darius is trying to get us 100K in funding.
That's it.
How long does it even typically take to get 100K in funding, you think?
I get it in a day.
A day?
Yeah, 4 banks, 25,000, that's 100K.
Imagine getting your salary or more in a day.
And I know. Most people can't save 100K. I can show you how to go get it in a day.
Imagine holding your salary in a day. It's probably going to take 5 days because they got mail you the card.
Most people ain't making 100,000. I think the average salary is 50,000. So imagine you getting access to double
2
what
years
you get
of
at your
salary.
job. You feel me? In
One
a
day.
It's doable, but we don't know what we don't know. I always say you can only grow to what you're exposed to. So you got to get in the room so you can learn some new things.
You only grow to what you're exposed to.
For sure.
Hey man, y'all go ahead and comment y'all favorite part of this conversation. I'm gonna make sure that we drop that link to the 3-day boot camp in the description as well. So y'all go ahead, look at the description for that link, and I want to see y'all on that call December 11th to December 13th.
Yes, sir.
Make sure y'all go follow Darius at Darius Benders on Instagram, all platforms.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make sure his YouTube channel's on there as well, so y'all can get that extra game.
Yes,
but
sir.
I mean, other than that, Darius, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
I appreciate you.
I love
Always
having
good
you on here,
convo,
man.
for
You always
sure.
give us a good game.
My God.
I'm gonna see you December 11th.
Yes, sir.
And to our listeners, make sure y'all tap in, share, like, subscribe, do all the things. Make sure you get in this game. I'm your guy, Kai Speaks. You just heard from Darius Benders. We out.